What if I told you every choice you think you've made, every decision you thought was yours, every yes and every no wasn't really yours? The truth about free will is far stranger and darker than you realize. In the next few minutes, we'll uncover what's really controlling your decisions. And spoiler alert, it's not really you. Let's try this. I want you to make a choice right now. Raise your right hand or your left hand. And before you do it, I want you to focus for a second on how you're going to choose one hand over the other. Go ahead, you can pause the video if you want. Great, now how did it go? I don't know about you, but for me, I was just sitting here when the thought of raising my right hand popped into my mind. And just like that, I went ahead and raised my right hand. I never chose for that thought to appear in my mind, it just did. If it happened the same way for you, it feels like the choice just appears on its own, right? I can already hear some of you saying, I thought about my right hand, but I ended up raising my left hand. That proves I have free will. But here's the thing, even that second thought didn't just come from nowhere. The idea of raising your left hand popped into your mind right after the first one, and it just felt stronger, so that's the one you went with. It seemed like a choice, but really, the thought appeared on its own. So does that mean we have no say in the choices we make? Does that prove we have no free will? Well, not quite. Before we jump to conclusions, let's make a different choice. In the first one, the choice didn't really matter. Both options were basically the same. Your mind didn't care which hand you raised, but what if the choice actually matters? In this second choice, instead of picking which hand to raise, try deciding between taking a nap or watching TV. Just imagine having to make that choice. Now your mind starts weighing the consequences. You consider which option feels better, what it will cost you, and then you make a deliberate decision, a decision based on what you desire. Unlike the first example, you are confident it was you who made the choice. This one didn't just pop into your mind. So, does this prove we have free will? Well, not really. So here's the thing, whenever you're faced with two choices, naturally you pick the one that aligns most with your desires. Always. Not a single time will you choose something against your desires. You chose to go out because you wanted to, and you chose to have a cheesecake for dessert because it is what you desired. Now I know some of you might object, you might say, wait, sometimes we do something not because we want to, but because it's the right thing to do. And I get that. At first, it might seem like it's against your desires, but here's the catch, it actually isn't. Even when it feels selfless, there's still a deeper desire driving you. Maybe the desire to be a good person or to grow or to act according to your values. But here's the interesting part. Even if you decide to go against what seems like your immediate desire, it usually just means there's a deeper, stronger desire guiding you. Let me give you an example. Say you have the option to either scroll on social media or work out. Most people would avoid working out. It's tiring, it's uncomfortable, it makes your body ache. But then there's that deeper part of you, the part that cares about growth, about mental and physical health. And that's what pushes you to choose the workout, even if in the moment it doesn't feel fun. So basically, whether it's the obvious choice or the tough one, there's always a desire behind your decision, guiding you toward what you ultimately want. You might be thinking, well, if I'm choosing what I desire, isn't that free will? Well, it's not that simple. Your desires aren't really independent. They're shaped by your past experiences, your upbringing, your habits, and everything that led you to this point. So even when it feels like freedom, it's really your desires guiding you, shaped long before the moment you make the choice. Even this video you're watching right now will become part of that invisible decision-making process. Later, when a choice arises, your brain will consider everything it knows, including what you've just seen, and you'll feel as if it's yours. But still, if you observe closely, you'll notice something remarkable. There is a consciousness watching it all unfold. You are not the mechanism making the decisions, but you are the awareness that experiences the entire process. All choices, all thoughts, all reactions arise, and you simply witness them as they appear. But if we take away free will, what does that mean for morality? If our choices aren't truly ours, can we even hold anyone accountable? The reality is that all we can do is try to shape the environment so people have the right moral foundation to make good choices. Think about it. A kid raised with immoral teachings is far more likely to grow up to be a bad person. And if by some chance they grow up to be a good person, it's usually because of some good, stronger influence, like a friend, a teacher, or anything they were exposed to that left a mark on their sense of right and wrong. In other words, morality itself depends on what has been imprinted on us, not on some innate free will. Now, I know all of this might sound a little unsettling, like if we don't really have free will, what's the point of trying at all? But here's the upside. Understanding that our choices are influenced by everything we've experienced can actually be freeing. It means we don't have to beat ourselves up over every decision, big or small. We can let go of stress, stop overthinking, and just go with the flow a little more. And here's the really beautiful part. Even if we're not making every choice entirely on our own, we can influence the world around us. The experiences we share with others, our words, our actions, and the content we create all become part of that invisible chain that shapes the choices of people around us. In other words, living well, being positive, and helping others can ripple outward and make the world a little better, one small influence at a time. So maybe free will isn't exactly what we thought, but that doesn't mean we're powerless. Now that you've heard this, these ideas will become part of your experience, shaping the choices you make next. I hope they help you make the right ones.